Cacti and succulents are garden favourites because they feature an astonishingly diverse range of shapes, sizes and colours. Smooth, prickly, furry, cute or imposing. They have it all covered. What's your passion for cacti and succulents?
It's the vast array of form and shape that you can get within these plants.
In a recent story, I met Dylan Hewlett, the manager and plant buyer of Fitzroy Nursery, where I found out more about how to choose and grow cacti and succulents. This time, I'm lucky enough to be visiting Dylan's own home in the southeastern suburbs of Melbourne, and I'm taking a behind-the-scenes little peek at his own private collection. Oh, wow, your block is much bigger than I would have thought.
Yeah, it's over 200 square metres. Well, I've always had an interest in plants, even from a young age. Just as I got older and actually had the space to let it all run wild, it's just kind of growing from there. So it was never intentional to end up at this point. It's just how it evolved.
So you didn't start out being a collector. You started out being an ordinary gardener who just collected and collected and collected.
That's basically it.
Yeah.
As I was introduced to more specialised plants like cacti and succulents, I went down that rabbit hole. So there are certain plant families that I've followed more than others, but yeah, definitely it's an eclectic mix overall.
There are hundreds of different plants growing happily side by side in Dylan's garden, but he does have a few hero plants he's particularly proud of. This has just taken on a great spurt, hasn't it?
Yeah, so this is Cassonia paniculata, which is responding really well to the spring rains we've had this year, and you can see it's put on a bit of a growth spurt.
It's that new growth that is so luscious, isn't it?
Yeah, and also plants like this, they get a bit of movement happening into this garden because it can be quite static.
Static, yeah.
Having cacti and succulents like this.
Mind you, the staticness of that golden ball.
Well, that's right. You don't really need it to do too much more than that,
just sit there and look aggressive.
Yeah.
Now, I see two plants that I love. The silk floss tree.
That's it.
The two of them.
Yep, so we've got a couple of Ceiba speciosa in here, which I actually grew from seed.
Now, that one hasn't got any spikes, and this one's well and truly spiky.
Yeah, so that was definitely what I was after, and this one's decided to be difficult to not grow any spines.
I really like that. That's a beautiful form, isn't it?
Yeah, so that's agave blue glow, and that's actually become quite readily available over the last few years. It used to be quite a rare specimen, but I'd say that you can pick that up from most garden centres now. So
it's a really beautiful plant, isn't it?
It's really lovely. Yeah. It's probably one of my favourite agave hybrids.
Surrounding Dylan's cacti and succulent collection is something a bit unexpected, an area filled with tropical plants. Now, here's something that you don't see in Melbourne all that often.
That's right. So this is a butterfly bush or a Clerodendron ugandense.
Yeah.
And it's actually a really hardy plant. It'll take full sun. It'll also grow in a bit of shade.
You've got it nicely layered, you know, the feijoa gives protection.
That's right. Obviously, when you think of a tropical layout, you've got many different layers and levels to it. So I've cheated a little bit and hung all the plants from the trees.
Yeah, the hanging baskets. But then look at the collection in here. That's just a massive collection of different foliages, like the philodendrons.
Yeah, so philodendrons are something that you probably wouldn't think of growing in Melbourne immediately. Here we've got pinnatifidum, we've got a large leaf xanadu here, we've got the martianum as well, so we've got quite a good range there of some pretty hardy philodendrons.
Because normally philodendrons wouldn't take to the Melbourne cold.
They wouldn't at all, and I've tried a few, will just melt. Like they will just turn black overnight and they're done. So,
oh, how sad, yes.
Yeah.
And then you've got this spectacular, very different-looking Monstera plant.
That's right. So that's
amazing.
That's Monstera triconstellation. I'd like to have a few plants in here with that variegation through the leaf as well, so you can also see different plants through here with a bit of different colour going on the leaf, and that just brings a bit of vibrancy to the garden.
The outside garden is just the beginning of Dylan's vast collection because there's even more waiting inside two greenhouses. Oh, gee, there's not an inch of room in here.
This is my collection of more specific cacti and succulents.
Why are they in here? They need protection, do they?
They need a bit of protection, mostly from the cold and also from winter rains.
And why the fan?
The fan, you always want to keep air moving in a greenhouse. You never want to have still air, but it also helps to keep the humidity down.
Because humidity would be the killer, wouldn't it?
Yeah. We've got a fair range of cordex plants, like the calabanus up there, you can see, which is the...
that cordex is like a cork sort of...
Exactly.
A layer. Wow.
Yeah.
Do they store water in there?
They do, yeah.
My goodness.
A lot of people would be familiar with the ponytail palm.
Yep.
It's kind of its short cousin.
And this gold one, that's a beauty.
That's a lovely astrophytum, and that's probably 50 years old, something like that, I would guess.
And then what's the one at the back up there?
That's an ant plant, so that's actually a native to North Queensland. It does store some moisture in there, but the main reason for that swollen base is it has a hollow in there, so it actually creates a habitat for ants to live in there.
What do they do? Are they getting something symbiotically?
It's a symbiotic relationship. The ants will keep the plant free from pests and will also provide food for the plant.
That is just an amazing collection. I really am very much looking forward to the next hothouse, though. You've turned me into a convert of these Haworthias, and this is where you keep your collection, isn't it?
That's right.
How many have you got?
There's about 300 in here.
They're beautiful, though. Where do they come from, and what's their sort of habitat?
So they're pretty specialised. They're found in southern Africa. Their natural habitat would be actually in the shadow of plants. So they grow in a very stony soil, but they grow in the shade of bushes.
There's lots of different kinds of these Haworthias, but some of them are flat-topped, some of them are ridged, some of them are... They're extraordinary.
Yeah. So they all have different adaptations to do the same job, essentially.
Wow.
The windows will diffuse the light.
Yes.
But also on some of them you'll see these raised areas, which are called pustules, which also do the same thing. They don't have a flat leaf surface, so they diffuse the light by increasing their leaf surface.
I found this one. That is just magnificent.
Yeah, that's a lovely... That's a Cooperi type, so they've got fantastic windows on them. They're probably one of the best choice of succulents to grow inside because of their adaptation to growing in shadier positions. So a lot of people often think of succulents as being one of the easier plants for inside, but the truth is most of them need a lot more sun than you can give them inside. But
so these ones don't.
The Haworthias will cope perfectly well with it.
This is a bold and diverse garden that showcases Dylan's ever-growing fascination with the incredible world of cacti and succulents.
Well, this garden will never be finished because it's got so many moving parts to it. So there's never a final stage of this garden. It will always be movable. There will always be change here.
And what about new plants? Maybe a new collection, not just cacti and succulents, something else?
Don't tempt me.